Welcome back to Valheim. At the end of the last episode, I think I declared my intentions of creating a ship this episode and sailing it off to some distant island and trying to find a swamp. However, I felt like I needed to prepare for that, and so I wanted to collect a lot of metal, I wanted to collect a lot of food, so that I'd be really, really well prepared to go on a long voyage. And I kind of got carried away and made a bunch of weird stuff. And so I've learned a lot about other mechanics of the game. So I actually want to spend this episode filling you in about all the stuff I learned while I was preparing for my whole ship adventure. So one thing that I did was I just wanted to see if I could clear cut a forest. So where do I start with this? Okay, so I wanted to collect a lot of metal. And metal is scattered all over the place, and it's very, very heavy. And so I made myself a cart so that I could carry that metal around. And I realized, wow, I can really ramp up my resource collection operation to an industrial level with a cart to carry all of this stuff. And so I decided that I was going to clear cut this swath of forest over here. So rather than having multiple separate clearings separated by forest, I've just got one long clearing now leading to the other part of the meadows, way down there. I chopped down all these trees. I used the Elder's special ability to chop down trees real fast. Oh, look, a boar. Squirrel. Anyway, but then I had way too much wood. And so I decided to build a tower. I decided to build the tallest tower I possibly could out of wood. So you know that there's this system where each piece of a construction that you add has it's got to check and see how it's connected to the ground. And if it's connected through too many different objects, it's weak and it collapses. And so this happens if you're building sideways, like to try to build a bridge across something, but it also happens if you're building vertical. And so the stronger the material you're using, the more distance you can have in terms of number of objects between the ground and the highest thing that you've placed. And actually, oh, it looks like a piece of my tower might have come off. So you'll notice that the corners of this tower are built from these round logs. Those are not regular wood. That is core wood. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to build a 4-story tower, and I couldn't out of regular wood. When I got up there and I started adding the roof was collapsing. And so I had to add all of these struts basically out of core wood, these supports, in order to build it up. You'll notice that all of the parts of the roof are connected to the ground via these giant pillars. So I'm going to go up here. So we might actually have an example of a piece that just stubbornly refuses to work because I've built too tall. Oh, I need to eat another bite. Boink. So I've been trying to conserve, by the way. I've been trying to conserve my food, saving my best food for when I actually go on an adventure across the pond. Here, let's rotate this and try to put it in place. So you'll notice that the thing I'm attaching it to is red. That means that basically there's a lot of distance between this and the ground. And so I think there's a decent chance that after some time passes, this piece will collapse. It's supported by this piece. It's also supported by this piece. So it seems like it's lasting. Sometimes it takes a little while, though, for constructions to collapse if they're placed precariously, but I think it's going to hold on. So yeah, so basically I kept placing these roof pieces, and they just kept collapsing until I built this pillar up the middle, this pillar up the side, and that pillar up the side to support them. But I could not possibly go any higher. So I'm assuming that once I unlock stone construction, I will be able to go higher by using stone as my base. But for right now, this is the tallest thing I could possibly build. So that's one of the ways that I was just screwing around and learning about the game between episodes. Another thing I learned was that rain, okay, it just started raining, which is just perfect timing. Rain erodes wooden construction. And I'm not sure if it does it with stone construction because I haven't done any stone construction. But you'll notice there's a different color and shape to this staircase and porch, which is outside all the time, versus the parts of the tower that are under the roof. Now, because I struggled for a while to make that roof, most of this tower originally actually turned this color. In fact, I think you can see that this pillar right here is the wrong color. I wonder if I can reach it with my repair hammer. There. So if I repair it, it goes back to its pristine color. And because there's a roof above it, I think it'll probably stay that color now. So anything that's got a roof above it, like all the walls of this little forge hut here, are staying the pristine color. But this staircase is turning that slightly gray color that it gets from being in the rain. And so for a while I thought it was just age that did it, but no, it seems like it's actually rain that causes the effect. This area, this corner over here, and we will talk about these portals in a second, this corner over here used to be, because I added it recently, this used to be the pristine color, but now because of this rainstorm that just started, it just turned gray. And so that's the thing. So, and actually the quality of it, like the repair quality of it is also, it gets low. You'll notice that it's at half quality. Now, these walls that are intended to be outside, they don't degrade in quality, but these interior pieces do. So I can manually repair them if I want to, but the next time it rains, it's always going to drop back down again. It happens with gates as well. And you can almost see, like, I think I just saw it degrade by a pixel because of the rain. So the longer you leave it out in the rain, it'll degrade down to half, and then it'll stop degrading. It's not going to degrade to nothing. But I think that's actually the mechanism that, like, the houses that you see that are sort of like naturally spawned out in the environment, they're always in really bad shape too. And I think part of that is because they're out in the rain. And you could repair them. You could repair their roofs and everything and keep them in pristine condition if you wanted to. I usually prefer to build my own things. But yeah, there you go. So I'll have to replant these carrots later. Let's just hold on to the seeds over here. And oh, look, I've got a bunch of like boar bits. Hold on. I gotta store all of my boar bits now. Store my boar. Gotta store my boar. And I've got like a boar head now. So I've actually started using this little shed out here that I adapted. I've been using this as storage for like nonsense that I, for some reason, just keep retaining, even though it's serving me no purpose whatsoever. What else do I have? Oh, I've got a little bit of extra wood. I'll just put that in here. So yeah, so anyway, one of the things I've been doing is I've been trying to collect as much ore as I possibly can and process all of it here in my smelter. The problem is I went circumnavigating the coast first, partly just because there's this part of the coast over here I'm going to have to sail past when I go on my sailing voyage, and I wanted to know what its outline was first. And so I went around, surveyed the whole coast, and I collected a ton of tin. In fact, I collected so much tin that I kind of that I now need to collect a whole bunch of copper in order to turn all that tin into bronze. So that's what I've been doing. I've been going out there collecting a bunch of copper, and that sort of led me down another weird path that I'll show you. So let me just drop off the stuff that I don't need. Put my core wood in here. Let's take that coal that I just got and store it. Okay, we're going to leave the smelter going. But then, yeah, let me show you what else I did. So, I started making portals. Oh, Coalición is wondering if I'm going to read chat today. Hold on, let me catch up with the chat here. So Zedric says, I like to build, so I have like a big village, but my technology level is low. Same. So yeah, I probably could have, moved on like to other, to the swamp, progressed a lot faster, but I just love building with what I've got. And so I just keep just idling here forever, building the biggest possible things at the technological level that I've got. And I just can't move on. Part of it is I really want to make all of my big strides on the stream. And so during the week, while I'm not streaming the game, I got to do something with my time. And so I ended up just building a ton of stuff. So, La Coalición is saying that I should place a troll face up here to warn enemies. The problem is, I don't know if I can actually... I would have to build such a scaffold to get up there on the outside that I think I won't do that. But yeah, so Zedric says, I only have iron and stonecutter because somebody else got it for me. I think, my co-op game that I play, so I play the game single player throughout the week, and I make big strides on this stream once a week. My co-op game I actually play once every 2 weeks, and so that one is actually lagging behind. But yeah, my friend and I, who play this game together, we're gonna eventually. I think we're about to move into the Black Forest, so we're about to start working with metal. So we're gonna catch up. So I need to get ahead actually in this game so that I know what's going on in my co-op game. Anyway, so I made these portals. The way that making a portal works is you build the portal and then you assign it a tag. So this one, I assigned it tag Voyage, because this is the one I intend to make whenever I end up crossing the ocean. I intend to make another portal on the other side, tag it with the word Voyage, and then this one will connect me across the ocean. So right now, it's not lit up because I haven't set the tag of a portal on the other end. This one, I set to First Gate. So if I go through here, this will take me back to my first camp, which I've also built a portal at. So you can see I built sort of this extra little wall here to defend my first area, because it doesn't matter where you are, you still get the attacks based on your current tech level. So actually I've suffered one swamp attack now. And it involves Droger, which are enemies I had never seen before. And they will attack you no matter where you are. I was in the meadows when I got attacked by them. But yeah, so this is the first camp I built. This is my original chimney. All of that stuff. I did end up destroying my extra cook fire that never worked because I never put a proper roof over it. But yeah, so this portal lets me teleport back and forth. And so I was able to grab a lot of the supplies that I collected. And stored in that first place, and rather than having to run it all the way back home, I was just able to portal it home. So I had a bunch of other stuff. So then I had another saga that will involve carts eventually, but we'll get there. So I made this other base up here that I called the Crossing, and you'll see why in a minute. Because there, like I said, I collected a ton of tin, but I was falling behind on copper. You need twice as much copper as tin to make bronze. And so I ran out of copper real fast. But I did find some copper deposits up this route, up this seacoast, up here. In fact, I've got one marked here on the map. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to build a base up there, collect all of that copper, and then I can portal all the copper home. So those of you who've played a lot of Valheim know what's wrong with that plan. We'll reveal it as we go. But I didn't know that there was something wrong with that plan originally. So I built an entire base up here. I've been playing a lot of Valheim between episodes. I built a whole base up here. So let me just back up so you can see it. So I've got this little base. It's sitting here on the river. And because there's a whole section of Black Forest over here, I think this might be Black. Maybe this is Meadows. I haven't actually checked. There's a whole area over here that I had never been to before. And I was like, okay, if this place is Black Forest, it looks like right here it's Meadows. But who knows, right? Anyway, if there's resources over here that I haven't found yet, it would be useful to have a bridge to get there. So I built a bridge. And by the way, building bridges is an interesting challenge in this game, because you can't just... It's hard to stand at the edge of something and build out further. You have to arrange yourself so you can sort of see the edge to attach something to. So that's what I was doing. I was sort of slowly edging my way across, building bits. And then, like I was saying before, once you've built out a certain degree... I need to eat some mushrooms. Once you've built out a certain degree, things start collapsing. And you have to build supports. And so I would build out 4 layers of planks. And then I would reach down with my hoe and build and then raise the ground level. And then I would build pillars to support the bridge, and then I would keep going. And so I was able to build this entire bridge across here. Thought this was a really cool base. And once I had finished, but in the rain, the water gets high. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. So Cogs is asking if I'm recording locally. Yes, I am recording locally. Don't worry about that. We're gonna have a high quality video of this eventually. Okay, so apparently I need to get my weapon out because I've been in the water. Die. All right, I should have gone to sleep. Actually, you know what? Another thing that's fun about this is because I've got portals, I actually can go to sleep in my own bed at night. I don't have to keep moving my spawn point to new bases. I can just keep going back to my comfy bed back at home. So let's do that. Let's sleep through this storm. Let's get started on a nice new day. And then I'll show you what I was doing at that base. I am wet. Okay, hold on. Let's let my little wet thing recover. We got the little up in the top next to the mini-map. I'm wet. Now I'm no longer wet. Now I will go to sleep. Coalition says, when do you start drilling for oil? I honestly don't know. I doubt that's a real thing, but I honestly don't know. Like, I assume that iron must be a thing. I think Zedric mentioned iron. I don't know if there's a technology beyond iron, or what it would be, or what. So a lot of this is still a mystery to me, which is actually kind of fun. So let's portal away again to the crossing. And let's go mining. So yeah, so I've got so much tin stored up that I need to get as much copper as I possibly can in order to put it to use. So this area is great, by the way, because it constantly spawns creatures. Like, I never run out of meat. Meat used to be a problem for me because, like, I would kill the creatures near my home, and then no more would spawn for a while, and I'd be like, oh, I'm running low on meat. Now I never run low on meat, because every time I come here, there's a whole new spawn of wildlife just ready for me. I have been carefully relying on sort of my less valuable food right now, because I wanted to save my most valuable food for when I go to the swamp. So you'll see that, I'm basically I usually eat 2 health foods and a stamina food. And so for my stamina food, I've been using yellow mushrooms. Because they're not used in any of the recipes that I've been using, all of my other sort of sources of stamina can be made into much better sources of stamina by saving them up and using them in elaborate recipes. But yellow mushrooms aren't on any of those lists, at least not yet. And so I've been using yellow mushrooms so that I don't waste ingredients. And similarly, I'm eating some deer meat that I didn't need. I'm eating boar jerky because I've got way too much boar meat and way too much honey. Because, like, every time I come here, I run into, like, 1 million boars. Ah. Okay. Unfortunately, I also run into 1 million gray dwarfs at all times. And because I'm not using my most productive stamina sources, I'm kind of useless in combat. I mean, obviously, I made short work of those guys, but if a lot of them attack me, it's actually really inconvenient for me to fight them because I don't have enough stamina. Oh, hey, Moshnant, I don't know how to say your name, is asking if we're missing a fill light on my face because I look dark. You are absolutely correct. We are missing a fill light on my face. Thank you. I forgot to... I don't leave this light on all the time because it is kind of bright. But I left it off and I completely forgot to turn it on again, so thank you. So Zedric says that iron is what you get in swamp crypts, but swamps bogged down my Xbox One so bad I haven't really played recently. Oh, I hope that that's not the case for me. I am playing this on a Series X, which is like the fanciest Xbox you can get. So I'm hoping that means that I'll be fine. So one danger we do have to contend with out here is that we are close to the mountains. And one time, like one of the copper deposits that I mined was actually so close to the mountain that I attracted wolves. And wolves are scary. One of the things that an advantage that wolves have that other enemies don't have, is that they can run fast enough and attack quickly enough that they can actually chase you down and damage you if you're trying to get away. Gray dwarves don't do that. As long as you just keep moving away from them, they have to stop and slowly charge up an attack. And so as long as you keep moving, they won't hit you. Similarly, I need to eat. Similarly, trolls are also pretty easy to evade, even when you don't have any stamina. Okay, so here is the copper deposit that I found. So we're going to start mining this. But wolves, they will just run up and bite the heck out of you while you're running. And so that happened to me, and I actually got killed, which was great. Then I had to come back, like, luckily I had a portal, so I was able to come back at least, you know, with less of a really long run. But I came up, was able to retrieve my body. I think I also got attacked by a Droger, so, you know, it got ugly. But we're fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna mine a bunch of copper out of here until I fill my inventory. And then we'll head back, and we will try to get this stuff home. Oh, hello, friends. Ah. Stop it. Wasn't there another one down there somewhere? Maybe it was just a deer. Anyway, so you are more effective mining copper from above, and so I'll usually like start mining it from above until I eventually fall down, then I'll mine it a little bit more, then I'll run up to get back on top of it again. So yeah, Moknant is clapping at my new improved lighting scheme. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for calling that out. I mean, so I used to actually like, before I got my office here, which was a little bit, you know, soundproof, I used to stream at night, really, you know, and I would, in order to keep from waking my family up, I would have to speak really, really softly into the mic, and, you know, the lights would be off, and I would usually be lit by the game screen, and not by, you know, and not by any actual lights. And so me looking dark was actually just part of the aesthetic. But now I try to, you know, I'm trying to actually learn a little bit more about, you know, proper lighting and use of cameras and stuff like that, because I'm in the process of building a streaming studio at the office for us to use for our official State of Decay 2 live streams. And to do that, I actually have to get better at this stuff. So I appreciate you sort of calling out what was missing there. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, yeah, so what I end up doing is usually just dropping a bunch of stone to make room in my inventory for the copper ore. And so I'll end up with a bunch of, like, just discarded stone piles all over the place at a copper deposit, and I won't bother picking those up. Oh, hey, look! More dwarves. So there is a point where getting constantly attacked by low-level enemies can get a little bit annoying, because, like, I'm not really fearing for my life. Now, if there are wolves around, I'm fearing for my life. I'm not really fearing for my life from gray dwarves anymore, especially greylings. I get attacked by greylings all the time. Of course, I do get a little bit more vulnerable if I don't keep track of my food, so let's up my food here. Okay, I think, yeah, I've picked up everything that I can. I'll drop a little bit more stone so that I can get a little bit more stuff. I think I'll drop some of this wood, too. Don't really need the wood. Okay, I've picked up enough ore. I'm carrying... Oh, no, I can pick up one more piece of ore. One more piece of ore. Let's mine this little tiny bit of copper deposit. There we go. Did I get... Yes, I got a little bit more ore. Okay, we're good. Let's head home. Oh, hello, deer. Take that. Okay, yeah, so basically when I started mining up in this area, I was like, okay, great. I will collect a whole ton of copper ore, and then I'll portal it home. It'll be great. So let's see how that turns out. Oh, so Zedric says that actually he uses a different method from me to mine those things. Instead of mining from the top to make it go quicker, he actually deliberately mines from the bottom because it counts as shelter. So you can, like, keep things like... Now, so do you mean, like, because it's raining, like trying to keep from being wet? Or are there other benefits you get from being under shelter beyond avoiding wetness? Okay, yeah, running through the wilderness is tough because you end up with no stamina to fight enemies if you run into enemies. So La Coalition says, wait, was that noise the deer? I thought it was your character with a rock in his shoe. So you mean like that little, like, repetitive ooh, ooh, ooh sound or whatever? Yeah, so no, that is not my character going ow, ow, ow because I'm running around with a rock in my shoe. That's, oh, dang it, come on. Jumping takes a lot of stamina. So being up on a high ledge like this is a problem. In fact, let's just run away. I'll deal with these dwarves whenever they catch up to me. I think this spot here might be a place that I mined. Yeah, you can see a little bit of copper deposit there. We're almost back to base. So Zedric says, Greylings are irritating since they pose 0 threat and they spawn every 3 seconds when I'm trying to build. Yeah, basically that is the process of building. Like, until... I think that, like, once you've sort of enclosed the place where you live, you know, you can start ignoring Greylings. But until you've done that, until you've reached the point where you've actually, you know, everything you're doing has got big walls that enemies can't see through, sort of hiding you from the outside world... yeah, you just get attacked by Greylings all the time. All right, so let's just portal this stuff home. And oh no! An item prevents you from portaling. So it turns out that you can't portal with metal ore. So if I put that ore away in that chest, now I can suddenly portal. So my entire plan, the entire reason I built that base, was so that I could portal ore home, and I can't portal ore home. So let me try to get all the rest of this crap out of my inventory, because then I want to show you what I actually ended up having to do. Let's drop, see if we got a bunch of food here. Any other food that I'm not going to be eating? I don't think so. Let's drop, let's see here, this is where I keep stone and regular wood in small amounts. Here is where I cook and usually burn my deer meat. Here is where I keep leathery type things. I've got seedy type things in here. This is where I keep resin. This is where I keep dwarf eyes, though I think I'm out of space for dwarf eyes. I've got so many dwarf eyes now. I don't have room for them anymore. I'll start a new pile in there, I guess. Got that. And I got buke berries. Put our buke berries for buke berries. Oh wait, let's remember, grab our deer meat. So now I've got some more snacks for the road. And, oh wait, no, I keep the buke berries over here. Okay, great. So, what I actually have to do now is take my cart all the way up to the crossing, load the cart up with ore, and then bring all the ore home in the cart. So Fresh Mentho says sailing is the way to transport ores over long distances. So yeah, so that is the thing I intend to do next, is learn how to sail. So right now, because my main base here is so far across land from this area, like, I guess I could sail around. I don't even know where the tip of this island is. I could theoretically sail around and bring ore home this way, because this is the side where I've built my base. This is the coast where I built my base. But I think the cart might actually be the better move for getting things from up here, because it's mostly just straight across the land. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, it's actually kind of a cool illustration of the reason why most human population is on sea coasts and rivers, is because for ages, no matter where you were, even if there was a fairly short way across land to transport something, sailing around on the water was still the fastest and most convenient way to travel. So let's bring our cart. So in order to pick up a cart, so this is the first time I've done a cart on the stream. You can't just pick up a cart from any direction. This isn't like the Infected where you just teleport into the right spot. You have to already be standing in the right spot, interact with the cart, and not the storage part of the cart. And then your character is attached via this flexible rope to the cart. And now I can run around and do all the things I normally do, except I've got a cart dragging behind me. Oh, hey, my phone is ringing. Let me see what it is. It might be just spam. Yeah, it looks like spam. All right, cool. Anyway. Exion says the cart is not good over, like, rough terrain, and you are absolutely correct. In fact, you kind of expect your cart to take a fair amount of damage in transit. So it is convenient for short distances, for clear routes. But you hear that little thumping sound? That's the cart taking damage, and you need a workshop in order to repair a cart. You can't just repair a cart in the field. You have to actually build a workshop nearby. Now, it doesn't need a sheltered workshop or anything. You can just build a workshop. But you have to have like 10 wood available to you in order to repair a cart, because you have to build a workshop nearby, or just repair it every time you come home. So real quick, I'm gonna grab. Oh, okay. So if you pull too hard on the cart and it's just not going anywhere, you'll lose the cart. And actually, the quickest way to get out of your cart is to dodge out of the cart. So if I encounter enemies that I need to fight and I need to be more agile, and I don't want them to be attacking the cart, because I have gotten to a situation where a troll attacked me while I was dragging a cart, and he destroyed the cart, and I had to rebuild the cart from scratch, which was rough. So if I get attacked by something like that, I'm going to dodge out and leave the cart behind and try to put some distance between me and the cart so the enemies attack me and don't hit the cart. Malator says you can build a path with the hoe, right? Yes, I absolutely can. And actually, eventually I'll probably show you where I built my pier. And my pier is connected to my base by a path. But that can take a long time to build a path. Not crazy. Like, if you know you're going to travel a certain route all the time, it isn't crazy. Like I said, like I clear-cut that entire forest in order to sort of make an open path between the clearing where I built my base and the clearing where I built my previous base. So I totally did do that. And I mostly did that because I was thinking, oh, this is a good place to hunt. And I thought it would be good to sort of like have an easy route to get between different hunting grounds. And that is a thing that you do on foot. And so it kind of made sense to me until I built the crossing, and actually that became my best hunting ground. And so I stopped trying to go to the other clearings to hunt. Yeah, I'm ending up with a lot of raspberries, which is good because I like making raspberry jam. Because you make every big pile of berries and that you devote to Queen's Jam, you end up making like 4 doses of Queen's Jam. I think it's still, because you're consuming a lot of ingredients, it's still not that efficient, but it's a quick way to make a lot of food, and so I do like Queen's Jam. Even though it's not quite as good as carrot soup, I think. You can make more of it faster. Oh, I could eat another bite. Time for more mushrooms. Oh, I'm starting to run out of my yellow mushrooms, so it's a good thing we're getting to the phase where I was actually going to start eating my my carrots. Oh, crap. Nope. Not interested in troll times. Let's just back away slowly. Do not want a troll to attack this cart. Okay, so Coalition has launched a poll to give us something to talk about while I'm on this long cart journey. It's funny. So this actually feels a little bit of like a commemoration of my heritage, because one of the sort of the famous sort of like stories of Mormon heritage, because I am definitely, like, regardless of my religious beliefs and affiliation, I am definitely ancestrally a Mormon, going back like 5 generations, just entirely Mormon ancestry. One of the stories is, the Mormons crossing the plains to settle Utah, and a lot of the folks who went across there did it pulling carts like this one across the entire Great Plains. Okay, let's get out of the cart so that we can fight these dwarves. And so I think that my ancestors, I don't know, I had a variety of ancestors on that trip. One of my ancestors was actually Brigham Young himself, who, of course, was in one of the fancier wagons and was, like, deathly ill by the time they got to Utah. So he was just sort of lying down in a wagon. He was not doing what we're seeing here. But a lot of the other folks on those journeys did take long, long trips with handcart. So I feel a little like I'm commemorating my ancestors when I take these long handcart trips. So La Coalition says the Mormon Trail or the Oregon Trail. It's the I mean, by the name, I think you could probably guess which trail we took. It was the Mormon Trail. We didn't go all the way to Oregon. I moved to the Pacific Northwest as an individual later, chasing a job. That's not where my people are from. Though various times, different branches of my family have lived in this area. My dad was actually born in Washington, in eastern Washington. All right, get up here. So right now this is an empty cart, which isn't that hard to pull. A full cart, you actually have to sprint in order to just barely, slowly eke your way up a hillside, which is kind of fun. La Coalition says, if I recall correctly, both paths were connected at some point. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, like, the path crossing the Great Plains might very well be the same for a lot of different groups. But yeah, the Mormons stopped in Utah instead of going all the way to Oregon. Okay. So yeah, so look how much damage this cart took while we were in transit. So I repaired it because we're here at home, which is nice. So I'm going to grab this ore that we collected and load it into the storage. But you can see there's a lot more room for more ore. So I think, okay, it's getting towards nightfall. Let's portal back home to sleep. And then let's go out and mine just a little bit more ore before we try to cart the ore home, because I want it to be efficient, right? So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually sort of mine out an entire deposit, even though I can't carry it all, and then I'll just run back and take multiple trips just collecting all of the ore. So we'll go to sleep. So La Coalition suggests that maybe I should play Oregon Trail sometime to celebrate my heritage on some, like, Mormon holiday. So, I mean, July 24th is Pioneer Day. That's when Mormons do celebrate that bit of their heritage. It's funny, like, in Utah and, like, maybe Idaho and Arizona, it's a serious holiday. Like, it's not just some, like, a few people observing something in their homes. It's like it takes over the town, which is kind of fun because people outside of those areas have no idea this holiday even exists. It's only a holiday for people with Mormon heritage. Okay, so actually, I think I probably got a bit of extra crap in my inventory, don't I? A little bit of wood. Let's just drop the stuff we don't need. And all right, we're going to leave the cart there, and we're going to go, because this, you saw how treacherous this terrain was. I don't want to take the cart all the way up to where the copper is. So I'll be carrying that on my back, loading it onto the... Hello? I would like some deer meat, please. Why is it not automatically... Did I manually drop this? I didn't think I did. Oh, I'm going to punch a deer. No, I'm not. So yeah, so we're going to be carrying the copper on our backs. Exion says you can accidentally turn off auto pickup. Really? Is there, what? You're saying that, is there like a button? Oh. Oh, you're right. I'm not auto picking stuff up. Wait. What's the button? How did I turn it off? I definitely want auto pickup. Could it be that is it something on the inventory screen? Is it, what could I have done? Exion says not sure about the buttons on controller. Crap. Is it, alternate replacement, inventory, attack place, forsaken power, build mode, block, deconstruct, move, run. Oh, clicking the left stick. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm clicking the left stick, it's not doing anything. Does that have to be with inventory open? Okay, dang it. clicking the left stick. Okay, so it says run is on clicking the left stick, which I do all the time. But then, is it when something is on the ground? When does it toggle auto pickup? Oh, it's hold, not click. Okay, I've just held it. Okay, let's see if I auto pick this up. Can we hold it? Okay, no, I'm not. It's not coming back on. It's left trigger plus left stick? Really? No, that's not doing it either. Oh, it's left bumper plus left stick. What? Okay, it's left bumper plus left stick. Sure. Sure, why not? I mean, it's got to be something, right? I guess there must be players out there. All right. Oh, crap. What's going on? There must be players out there who turn it on and off all the time. Because I'm like, why is that not on the settings menu or something? But there must be some kind of sort of user experience that some players want where they're turning it on and off at will in different situations. And so I can see that maybe that's why it's on a button like that. You know what? I just don't want to deal with these monsters. I'm just going to keep moving, and then I'll stop and deal with anybody who didn't get lost on the way. Exion says, sometimes I turn it off while mining so I don't accidentally pick up a bunch of rocks. That makes sense. I could also see turning it off during combat if you don't want to, like, pick up every little monster bit that drops on the ground. Okay, I can see my destination on the map. This place is so steep. Again, you can see why I did not bring the cart out here. There's like literally no place to run that is not just ridiculous. I mean, maybe if I started higher up, I could pull it through some woods on a flatter area that's on a higher elevation, like up here. But that would also have its own problems, having to navigate between trees and things. I usually actually, when I'm navigating with a cart through like uncharted territory, I usually keep my axe out so I can just like hack my way through the underbrush, which actually kind of feels kind of cool, actually. So this, this is also a copper deposit. Oh, okay. Okay, this is not the one I was doing before, but this feels as good as any. I'm about to run out of shrooms. Re-up my shrooms. I might need to get a new pile of shrooms. So it is weird, like, so as you progress through the different food types, not only does their bonus go up, but also their duration goes up. So I've actually gotten kind of accustomed to the foods that last 20, 25 minutes. But these mushrooms are on the old schedule. These mushrooms, they only last like 10 minutes. And so even though I had a lot of yellow mushrooms when I got started, I'm going through them really, really fast. Yeah, so Exion says, when I'm running out of space, I basically make sure to only manually grab what I want. The downside of grabbing what you want is that at some point you'll pick up something that doesn't fit in your inventory, and then you're in sort of like slow mode. And so I like to rely on their auto pickup stuff and just drop things I don't want, because then it will automatically stop picking things up when I hit the limit, and I won't accidentally put myself into slow mode. I accidentally did that one time when I was coming to get my dead body. I'm getting a lot of rocks because I think there's a regular rock embedded in this copper deposit, and so I'm mining it at the same time and getting way more rocks than you usually get. But yeah, when I came to get my body one time, I accidentally picked up too much stuff, and I ended up, with a bunch of enemies around me in slow mode, and that was a rough time. All right, let's just get this a little bit. Okay, so this is enough now. So I'm not going to try to grab all the copper in the world during this session. I can come back and get a lot of this copper later. So this is about as much as I can really carry. So we'll leave this here. Let me mark this. That's not how you do it. Let me mark this spot on the map as being a place with copper. So later on my own, when I'm just in the mood to grind, I'll come back and I'll get the rest of this copper. But we're going to run home with this, and then we're going to load it in the cart. And then we can cart it home. All right. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here, but I keep getting nervous that I'm not looking at the screen well enough. Oh, some folks are talking about the griefers who have been going around and killing people in co-op, like matchmaking into people's co-op games in State of Decay 2 and killing their characters through some kind of hack, some kind of exploit that they figured out. So I have heard recently that at least some action has been taken against those folks very recently. We heard back from some Xbox people that they have that they found that, like, I think people have been submitting the sort of the names of the folks who have been doing the exploiting and the griefing, and I think that that Xbox found that wasn't the only thing they were doing wrong, actually, and so I think that they have taken some kind of action against them. It ends up being my business to know exactly what happened, but the reporting that you folks have been doing has made a difference. Some action has been taken. Now, people like this, sometimes they have ways to get around the ways that they get punished, but at the very least, they have been inconvenienced as a result of the reporting. So I appreciate all the people who have been reporting and trying to take action against these people who are griefing folks, because that is not the experience we want people to have. And I know we're also working on longer-term solutions to prevent exploits like that. So we're trying to tackle it from multiple different directions. All right, so I can load this onto the cart. And then, yeah, so I can cart this back home. And actually, yeah, let's actually cart this back home, because now the cart is not going to be as heavy as if I had actually loaded it up with everything. But let's at least let's run around with the cart just a little bit, just to see if we can feel how much heavier it is. Because one thing I had kind of been imagining was that pulling the cart would just be the same no matter what was in it. And so it would be a really great way to sort of very quickly move large amounts of supplies around. But no, you'll notice that my character is moving significantly slower now that I've got 2 stacks of ore in there. And if I try to go up a hill, my character just slows way to a crawl. And if I had more ore in here, it would be even worse. So I have to sprint and use stamina to get up the hill, which means that if I encounter enemies under those circumstances, I'll often be completely worn out. So, okay, yeah, so we've seen this. I don't know if I actually need to cart this all the way home in order to demonstrate how it works. So I'm going to leave this here so that when I come back between sessions to grind for more copper, I'll have this cart ready to go, and I'll be able to sort of load it up, take it home, make a bunch more bronze, and then once I've done that, I mean, I've already done way more of that preparation than I need to do in order to accomplish my goals. The main thing I wanted was just a lot of bronze nails so that I could build a boat. I've got way more bronze than I needed to make those bronze nails. I've already got twice as many, or maybe even 3 times as many bronze nails as I need, and I'm just still collecting bronze. I'm being a very silly person. But yeah, so I think, you've seen how I've been spending my time and how ridiculous it is. But the next time we do a session with Valheim, I promise I will actually build a ship and we will actually learn how sailing works. But unfortunately, this is just... the thing that Valheim has been doing for me is it has become the game that I can grind in the background while I'm focusing on other things. Because so much of what I do benefits from me going out and just collecting tons of resources, taking trip after trip, bringing things home, accumulating stuff for me to then use later on a stream. Because that's actually valuable to me, this becomes a game where it's like, if I have to listen to a meeting that no one actually needs my input on, but I need to hear everything that's happening, or if there's a show that I want to keep up with, but it's mostly dialogue, and so I don't actually have to watch the show. Like this is how I've watched Barry. I basically watched all of Barry while playing Valheim, because it's mostly dialogue and jokes, and occasionally they have a really clever action scene that I pause and I'll look over on my other screen and watch it. But most of it is just happening in conversations, and so I'm able to sort of watch that show while I'm playing a game. So that's. Valheim has become the game that I do that with now. And so, every time we have an episode, you'll just see I have accumulated and built so much garbage that was unnecessary to progress the game. But I'm having fun. It's like, it's captured my imagination. I'm having a great time with it. Exion says, I'm glad you enjoy this game as much as I do. Yeah, and the thing that's nice about it over, say, Zomboid, like, when Zomboid was the game that I was obsessed with, I couldn't do anything else while I was playing Zomboid, because Zomboid is scary, and the slightest thing can go wrong and ruin your life. And in Valheim, death is inconvenient, but you can recover from it. And most places that I go, most things that I do, it's all right if something bad happens. I can manage the risk, and it's okay. And so it's actually fit into my life better than Zomboid did, back when that was the main game that I played. Coalition suggested, can I consider removing my armor in order to move faster? So yeah, that is a good point. I hadn't thought about the fact that my armor does slow me down. It only slows me down by something like 5% or something like that. So I don't know if the difference that would make would be worth making myself more vulnerable for if I do come around a corner and there's a troll all of a sudden. And putting on your armor means holding still and putting it on. And so that makes you very vulnerable. So I'd probably be nervous about doing that. It's worth it to me to take the extra time to have my armor on at all times. Exion says, as you progress, you get a ton more building materials, and you can make some epic bases. Yeah, so that's what I'm really looking forward to, is like when I can actually start building, for instance, out of stone. So I don't really know what it takes to build out of stone, but I have been accumulating, basically all the stone that I've been accidentally collecting as I've been mining and doing other things. I've just been collecting a giant pile of stone piles outside my base, imagining what's going to happen once I can actually build with stone. I'm probably not even going to build a stone base in that location. I'll probably build it somewhere else. I don't know. But still, I've got all the stone in the world, and you can portal with stone. So I can take it anywhere I need to take it and build. I mean, yeah, that's kind of end game for me, is building a castle. When I was playing Skyrim, end game for me was building a suit of armor. I did not care about anything going on in the main storyline. I just wanted to build something. I just wanted to craft something. And Valheim, luckily, is a game where that is why you're here. Yeah, you're here to defeat bosses, but the reason you want bosses is so that you can build castles. And this is just a castle building game for me. So Artalvo says, you need to get to the next biome called the Swamp for the Stonecutter bench. Okay, so that's what I was assuming, was basically, folks were telling me that I would get iron from the crypts in the swamp, and that I was imagining that iron is probably what it takes for me to become a stonecutter. So it sounds like you're confirming that, which is great. Like, that's what I'm really looking forward to. So next session, I promise, is the session where I build a ship, I go to another island, we try to find an island with a swamp on it, and we start progressing towards actually being able to build a castle. So for right now, let's wrap up this episode. Let's create some links. When I do make that next episode, that's going to go there. For right now, though, if you're watching me live on Twitch, I want to go play a different game while I mine for ore eternally in this one.